Hello guys, welcome to today's class where we'll be looking at a new topic. We'll be looking at permutation and combination. Now, permutation and combination. I'm sure the words might seem not so familiar, but then permutation and combination are actually very simple concepts that are very easy to explain, very easy to understand. Now, permutation simply means arrangement, while combination simply means selection. So, if I want to rearrange something in many ways, I think there is a way I can actually rearrange a particular, maybe a word, maybe the letters of a word. I want to rearrange them into different ways, into different formats, into different arrangements. It is called permutation. And then combination simply means selection. That is, if I want to select a particular amount of people from a particular total amount of people, or things from a particular number of things, just selection. That's what we mean by combination. So, in short, I can say permutation simply means select arrangements, while combination simply means selection. Now, before we even go into the details of permutation and combination, there is a common thing that we use for both permutation and combination. It's a common term. It's a term that we use to associate both permutation and combination, and it is known as factorial. Now, the factorial symbol has the same symbol as the exclamation mark in English language, which is shown like this, the exclamation or interjection mark. So it just shows that this is what we use to represent the term factorial. And what does the factorial actually explain? Now, anytime we have a factorial, if you see an expression like this, we see 5 factorial. 5 factorial actually explains that we keep multiplying 5 by its consequent whole numbers as it tends to 1. So we multiply from 5. The next whole number after 5 tending to 1 is 4. The next one is 3. The next one is 2. The next one is 1. So 5 factorial is what? 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So in this case, 5 factorial will now give us a total value of 5 times 4 giving us 20, 60, 120 times 1 giving us 120. So 5 factorial will give us a sum total of 120. So that is the idea of factorial. Another example of factorial, look at 3 factorial. From our idea of what we know as factorial now, 3 factorial is simply 3 times 2 times 1, giving us a value of 6. So that is just what the idea of factorial is all about. I can also have, in a case where I have a factorial of 7 factorial, I simply know that I keep multiplying by the recessive whole numbers, recessive integers till I reach 1. So I have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. In this case, multiplying this, we have 42 times 5, we have 210 rather, and then 210 times 4, we have 840 times 3, we have 2520 times 3, we have 7000. So for 7 factorial, we simply have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which gives us a sum total of 5040. So this is the idea of factorial. And then before we go further, there are 2 things we should know. There are 2 factorial that we call the natural factorial. We call them the natural factorial. Why? Because they are they don't need any proof before we actually give them their values. We call them the natural factorial, and they are known as what? 0 factorial and 1 factorial. 1 factorial is basically 1. From the idea of factorial, we can deduce that, but 0 factorial cannot be proven at this level. So we just tend to know that the same way 1 factorial is 1 is the same way 0 factorial is also 1. So 1 factorial is equal to 0 factorial, and they all have a similar value. They all have an equal value of 1. So these are what we call the natural factorials. So back to what we were doing. These are the natural factorials. So back to what we were doing. Now, since we understand that factorial is just a multiplication of recessive integers after the value tending to 1, then if I have a factorial like you have 6 factorial, I can also, instead of expressing my 6 factorial as 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, I can easily say my 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial, and stop there. Because I know 2 factorial will also be 2 times 1. So if I say that, then I'm not wrong, because I've just actually made it compact. I've actually reduced the length. So So I just said 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 factorial, because I know 2 factorial is 2 times 1. So the same way I can do this, the same way I can still say, okay, if I also say it is 6 times 5 times 4, and then I stop at 3. If I'm stopping at 3, then I'm pressing the factorial, just to indicate that what 3 factorial is still 3 times 2 times 1, which in this case will still be the same thing. If I can do that, that means I can actually say this is also 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. If I can do this, it means I can also still say that 6 factorial can also be expressed as 6 times 5 factorial. Now, why am I showing us all this? The reason why I'm showing us all this is because we need to know that what our factorial, we need to be able to manipulate our factorial based on what we need and what we need to eliminate. Now, in this case, we have shown that what we can express our factorial in its full form, or we can reduce it. I mean, we can make it compact based on what we need at that moment, what we need to eliminate, or what we need to work on. So 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial. It is also 6 times 5 times 4 factorial. It is also 6 times 5 factorial. So these are the ways we can actually express our factorial. And then it is just one of the many ways we can actually express it actually. Now, another thing we need to know while still introducing permutation and combination is the fact that what for an unknown value of factorial, in case we have an unknown value where we have n factorial, how do we express our n factorial? For an unknown value n factorial, the way we express it is actually by what? By multiplying our n by a value where we reduce our n by 1, and we keep on reducing our n by 1. That is, if we remove 1 from n here, we have n minus 1. Remove 1 from n minus 1, we have n minus 2. Remove another 1, we have n minus 3. And then we keep on going till we are ready to stop. Of which, in this case, you can go for as many times as possible. So you can stop here, you can decide to stop at 3, you can decide to stop at 4, 5, 6. It doesn't actually mean. But at this level, what we need to understand is that we don't know the value of n. So because we don't know the value of n, we don't know how far we need to go. So in this case, if you look at 6 factorial, we're saying 6 times 5. What we're actually doing is basically reducing each of the values by 1. We reduce it from 6 to 5, from 5 to 4, from 4 to 3, from 3 to 2, from 2 to 1. But in a case when we don't know the n, we don't know the value. So we just say n minus 1, and then the next value becomes n minus 1 minus 1, which is now minus 2. So we keep on removing 1 till we get tired, or till we are done with what is required actually. Now, in this case, our n factorial here is what can be regarded as this. You can write it, you can bring it together and write n into n minus 1, into n minus 2, into n minus 3 factorial. And that is that. So this is what we regard as n factorial. So we can actually express this as what? As a, so before we even go into permutation and combination at all, it is very imperative that we actually understand the concept of factorial before we delve into any of the permutation and combination. So in the next class, we'll work on permutation, we'll see how permutation actually works, we'll see the concept of permutation and how it relates to combination consequently. So see you in the next class. Have a nice day.